Welcome to the home of the DIY movement, where we build stuff and paint things.
All right, y'all, welcome back. It is Way Back Wednesday, man, and today we are going way back. This is July of 1995, and this may be the first picture that I ever took of a car of mine. I know it's the oldest picture I have. So what you see here is a Crown 13 by 7 bolt-on with a 175 50 series 13-inch tire on an 88 Honda Civic. So let's get into it. So first, man, what we got to understand was this was 1995, man, and back then, lowriding was different than it is today. People used to lowride whatever vehicle they had, whether it be a Euro or import or mini truck or a four door or man, anything. G bodies, Cadillacs, Impalas. But it didn't really matter, man. It was just like whatever you can put together, that was accepted. So I believe I got this car about a week before I turned 15 years old. I remember when I turned 15, I had what they called a hardship license, which if you had a job, you can apply for a driver's license as a financial hardship. So you could say, you had to work to help pay for bills in the house, and you would get what they called a hardship license. And so you're able to drive to work to help pay for the bills. This was in 95, man. So I believe I got the car before my birthday, before my 15th birthday, because I think I remember when I turned 15, I took it for a ride. So this car was a 88 Honda Civic DX hatchback, super base model, man, super base model. It didn't have power steering. I think it was, I know it was a standard. I think it was a 4-speed. It didn't even have a passenger side mirror. Uh, Man, manual windows, vinyl seats. The AC did not work. It had the black rubber bumpers. They weren't painted to match or anything, man. So the thing was a straight up commuter car that my dad got me, my parents got me, you know, to drive to school. I remember back then, man, I used to look in what they had in the Houston area called the Green Sheet, or it was the Green Sheet, and it was another magazine. I can't think of the name. To look for a car, right? So we went to go look at a couple cars. I remember we went to one of those buy here, pay here car lots, and I looked at a Cutlass 2-door. And man, I really wanted that car, right? Because my at the time my whole bedroom was surrounded with posters from Lowrider magazine, man. So had all these cars staring at me all day, every day. So I wanted that Cutlass, man. But I don't think it was a Euro clip. I don't even remember. I remember it was blue though. It was baby blue. But my parents were concerned that it wasn't very reliable because it wasn't a little commuter car. It was just a gas guzzler, and that was another issue was gas, which if I remember right was 87 cents a gallon back then. So they didn't get me the Cutlass. They ended up getting me the Civic, right, for I think like $1,800 back then. No air condition. Um, but hey, man, I was happy to have a vehicle, man. I was like, man, I was already planning out what I'm gonna do to the car, man. So I got a job when I turned 15. I used to work at a Marble Slab Creamery, which I don't know if that's a nationwide franchise. I doubt it, but it's an ice cream parlor. So basically, scooping ice cream on Friday and Saturday nights, and sometimes during the week after school. Worked 3 months, man, at minimum wage, which was four and a quarter. Worked the whole summer to save up for the set of crown wire wheels that you see right there, 13 by 7. I think they were, don't get me lying, I think they were 60 spoke. I know they were bolt-ons, and they had the BF Goodwrench Low Pro 13-inch tires. That was how this whole thing started. That was the beginning of this disease, this addiction, poor financial decisions, and everything else, man. But so I went and got these rims local from place used to be over there by Sharpstown High School in Houston called Master Street Design, and they had a little shop there. They did installs and stuff, and I got them on a layaway plan, man. So when I was done paying, I drove the car up there, and they bolted them on. Remember, I took my little friends, and we were like 4 deep in that thing, man, driving home. And I remember they went to put the stickers or take the stickers off of the tires, and I was like, no, 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 leave them on, because like I want everybody to know that all this is brand new, right? So I literally drove home with the stickers still on the tires, and I remember I paid extra to get the gold spinners because everybody back then had like chrome bolt-ons, and I wanted just to be like that one little step above them, like boom, gold spinners. And I remember those rims, like all 4 spinners, uh, they're all the same direction. They're not left and right sided. So right there, that picture that should be on the left side of the car, not on the right side. Yep. So I drove home with the stickers on the tires. I think the next thing I bought one of them bras that you put across the front. It was kind of like a mini trucking thing back then. Or, I mean, some cars had them. Some little import tuner cars had bras across the front. So I put a bra on that thing. Still had the mud flaps. You can see right there. It's all faded. But I had them. I believe those were BF Goodrich. They might have been Pirellis. I remember I did have to buy tires again. But man, I went through so many front wheel bearings on that car because they stuck out. They're reverse offset. So they stuck out, man. They wore the wheel bearings out. I think I replaced the wheel bearings, I know, at least twice. Well, I didn't replace. I paid to get them replaced. And man, them things would be roaring when they would go out, vroom, 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 like trying to drive on the freeway. So anyways, I drove this car, from age 15 until age 18, man. That was the car to get me to school, man. And we used to pack in that thing like 6 deep in a 2-door hatchback. Here's another shot of the car, man. You can see how much the rims stuck out on the car. They're 13x7. I remember my friend's old man used to call them rabbit smashers. Man, so here we are. That was the stereo system I installed myself. I built that box. And I don't know if you guys remember the last video. It talked about when Lupe came from across the street and he couldn't believe that I built that box, man. I think that was a Punch 45. And I'm not sure what amp that is on the right side. Might have been a Punch 40 on the left side. And in the middle, I believe, was a crossover. Because them old school amps, they didn't have built-in crossovers. So, man, that was like under the little hatch flip-up deal. So, like, when I wanted to show off, I'd take the thing off. But man, I had a pair of 12s in that thing with that Punch 40 or 45, and man, that thing was hitting pretty hard, man. Sometimes I would lay the back seat down and it would hit even harder. So man, yeah, looking at that car, like nowadays, man, like these little Honda Civics, they're pretty desirable. I see them on different websites, man. People are asking like $8,000 for them things, man, which is nuts. This picture right here might have been somewhere around maybe 96 or early 97. I remember all that flossing got me caught up, man, and the car actually got stolen. It got stolen with me in the car. So, yeah, I got jacked for the car, which is crazy, man. I got jacked for a set of crown bolt-ons. So, man, that didn't stop me. I believe at that point I switched jobs. I was working at a Subway sandwich in Southwest Houston, and some guys waited for me after work, man, and took my car from me. So I quit that place after that, got another job, and saving up my money. I remember at the new job, I hooked up with a guy. His name was A Bear, and he had these Roadster 56 spokes, and with the Blue Eagles, and he was like, man, give them to you cheap or whatever. I think I paid like $400, which $400 at the time when you're making $425 an hour, that's a significant amount of money. And them crowns actually cost like $1,300, believe it or not. So yeah, I had to save up all summer. So fast forward, man, and I picked up these Roadsters. The dude actually lived pretty close, so a real cool dude, man. I wonder what happened to him. But that was the first time that I was introduced to what shaving the tire meant. So he, they had like skinny white walls, and he was like, "Man, you should get the tire shaved." And I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "Man, I was thinking like they take the tread off the tire to make them more low pro." He was like, "No, no, no. They, you cut the white walls." So I was like, "What?" So man, he showed me where to go. It was a flea market, I believe, airline on the north side, where the dude's name was Montz or Monty, and man, he used to cut the white walls for like $5 a tire, man. So brand new set of tires, go up there and they shave the tire. He had like this little machine. You jack up the car and put this little machine on there that would roll the tire, and he would just sit there with I don't know, I don't remember. I think it was a grinder or something that would basically scrape the rubber off as the tire was rotating. Because if the tire has a white wall, then the whole sidewall is white. So that was a thing back then, man. You used to get them tires for like shit, man, like $60 a set on sale at Pep Boys, and then go to the flea and get them shaved for 20. So you had a fresh set of fat white walls for literally $80 on the car, man. So I was back in the game. Yeah, here's another picture. I remember when the car was stolen, it was also wrecked. So actually, man, before it got stolen, I was saving up to put hydraulics on this thing, man. So I had went to Shorty's. I was like, man, like 15-year-old kid, right? And I went to Shorty's in Houston, and we talked about putting like a whammy setup in it and this and that. And I was saving my money, right? I was saving my money, and I was like one check away, man, from being able to drop the car off. I forgot what he quoted me, but I was literally like one paycheck away from being able to do it, and car got stolen. So, man, I had to use the money that I had saved to get it repainted. And man, what a half-ass paint job they put on it, man. They just painted the hood and the fenders, both fenders in the hood, I believe. See the big key mark on the passenger side? They did that, and I didn't want to pay to get that painted, so super cheap, cheap, cheap. Single stage red, probably over like 180 grit scratches, because I remember I could see scratches in it, but whatever, whatever. I'm back in the game, and I got them roasters and had the gold spinners with the Blue Eagles, which is another testament to, you used to roll whatever you had, man. Like it, now I wouldn't, who would put Blue Eagles on a red car? But I mean, back then it was, whatever you had, man, to just be out there at the cruise spot, or you just wanted to be out there. It didn't matter what you had. Yeah, here's another shot, man. I had actually posted on Instagram. You guys follow Instagram, like who used to jack the car up, with a jack or whatever, and then go around the other side, take a picture, and make it look like it had hydraulics. With trying to hide the jack at the same time. So here's what I'm talking about. Like I had the jack in the back of the car, trying to make it look like it had hydraulics or whatever. But man, I remember that stereo system. Uh, Back in the day, man, in Houston on the radio, like on 97.9, they used to advertise like these car stereo expos at like the George R. Brown or whatever convention center, and they would be like, you know, head units $29.99, amps $39.99, subwoofers $49.99. So like I was like, damn, you can get a whole stereo system for like $100 at these places, man. So I went, and that was not the case, man. Like they say that crap on the radio just to get you in the door and try and sell you some other stuff, man. So didn't buy anything there. I had to I believe, man, I'm trying to remember. I know my first amp was a Sherwood amp, and I think that was before the Rockford, the Punch. Man, don't get me lying. I really don't remember, but I remember my very, very first amp was a Sherwood amp that I bought used. Anyways, man, I had went to Radio Shack, and I bought like some 3-inch tweeters. They were like, things were huge, man. They're meant to go in like these concert speaker boxes, and I actually zip tied them to the sun visor brackets. And I mean, you couldn't tell, like zip tied them, ran the wire down the pillar, and man, them things used to chirp like right in your face, man, like cheap. I think them things were like maybe like $20 a pair. Back then it was places like Radio Shack or like Western Auto. Western Auto used to sell, I forgot what brand it was, like Crackle or something. And pawn shops, man. You go to pawn shops, buy car stereo stuff. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. I wouldn't buy anything from a pawn shop. Actually, we went to a pawn shop like probably, I don't know, a few years ago when we were painting a car and we had some time to kill between base coat, clear coat. And I was like, man, let's go to the pawn shop, man. I ain't been to a pawn shop in a really long time. We walked around, it's just a bunch of junk, used tools. So pawn shops used to be like the place, man, to get stereo stuff. I'm sure most of it was stolen. Here's another picture of it, man. Actually, now I'm remembering. Once it was stolen and wrecked and repaired, I never put the bra back on. And man, I used to spray paint the wheel wells white. And man, I remember back then, I had bought some just like regular old like brake light sockets, and would paint them with the red Sharpie marker, like so it looked like a candy like light bulb, and I wired them up in the wheel wells and used to paint the wheel wells white. That was a thing back then. So it used to be called show lights. And I noticed now recently in the last few years, like people started doing that again. Like people started putting lights in the wheel wells. And for a while, I mean, in the 90s, that was like, a big thing, man. And then like, in the 2000s and it became like laughed at. And now I see it's coming back. People were doing it like on 4-wheel drive trucks and stuff. And I'm like, man, we used to do that shit like in 95, right? But yeah, man, this little car right here used to take me all over Houston area, man, as a teenager, you know. Um, them roasters, man, I love them roasters, man. I remember one time we were on at the cruise spot, and there was a dude, man, this was like straight coincidence. There was a dude driving a blue car with red and gold pans and spinners, and my car was red with blue and gold spinners. So my friend was like, "Man, you should try and catch up to him, man. Maybe he'll trade." And I was like, "All right, let's try it." So man, like run red lights to try and catch up to the dude, and we flagged him down. I was like, "Man, you want to trade spinners?" We pulled over and we started looking at him and stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll trade." So man, like score. So I traded for some gold and red spinners, red eagles that matched the car. So man, totally changed the look of the car. And we traded straight across, man. So, that's how it used to be back then. Like you could just go out to the spot and just run into stuff like that. Yeah, man. So fast forward, graduated high school. I was 18 or whatever, actually 17. And jumped into the workforce full time, man. So I upgraded. The little Honda was good to me, and so I went and bought another one, man. And this one I actually financed. I think I got it from CarMax, but I was working. I could afford the car note, so I bought it. This was a '95, and drove it or whatever. And then I picked up. Those were 14-inch 100-spoke front wheel drive Daytons, and I bought them from a guy I used to know. And man, they were clean, man. And I forgot what size tire, but it had a fat white wall. So I rolled around in this in like probably 97, late 97, early 98, somewhere around there. And this was a thing. Man, so fast forward, I was driving that thing and I went to Whataburger for lunch one day, and I parked. Actually, no, I was in the drive-thru. And getting ready to order, and there was a Warner cable truck. All I remember was it had a big vise on the back bumper, and the guys, I guess, they got in the truck or whatever, getting ready to leave, and he didn't see me in line for the drive-through and backed right into me, man, right at the driver's side, between the door jamb and the back tire, man, backed right into me, man, and the thing happened in slow motion, man, just crushed the car, right? So it's like, damn, dude, so since it was Warner Cable, big cable company, it was like payday for me. I was like, yeah, we're getting candy paint. So you guys remember the last video that I posted, and I mentioned the guy that I took the Monte Carlo to cut the roof off, and he was talking about show. This guy. So once that car was hit by the cable company, I took it to Chart Math, and I told him that I wanted candy red, and it was I wanted Real House of Color candy. I wanted apple red over Orion silver. So man, I got a free candy paint job out of that accident, and then I switched the wheels and I got some standard 13s. You see right there, they were China's. I got them from competition sales on Long Point in Houston. And man, it was candy red, man. And I remember when they painted it, like I drove up there, I went up there, I had a rental, and I was that kid, peeking in the booth while the guy sprayed it. And I'm sure they were like, man, this kid needs to like get the hell out of here, right? But I was like, man, I couldn't get over it. Like I'm gonna have a candy painted car, man. So I mean, that was a blessing and a curse because it looked great, but man, I was afraid to park it anywhere. Didn't want to get a door ding. Didn't want to get a scratch. So man, I end up getting a job at Home Depot. Right, used to close the store, so getting off at like 11 o'clock at night at Home Depot, and I would park like way way out, man, so nobody would mess with it. And I get out of work one day, man, and I'm walking to the car, and I see a shopping basket like right next to the car, and there's nothing else in the parking lot, like other than my coworkers' cars. And I'm like, man, don't tell me it happened. I get closer, man, and I see this nasty ass door ding on the door, man. And it was intentional for sure, man. Like somebody rammed that thing into the car. It wasn't like the wind just kind of the breeze just kind of blew it in. Nah, it was a big ass dent. And I'm like, man, you can't have nothing nice. So man, I wanted to do this video right here to basically kind of start over because I've been talking to some people and they really love the throwbacks, and they're like, man, you should do it in chronological order. You know what I mean? So this is starting in chronological order. So we started with the hatchback, and then graduated high school, upgraded to little 95 with air condition. It had a sunroof too. And then in 98 is when I had this little chop top right here, and that's my nephew at the time. And man, he's 29 years old now, believe it or not. So that's the order. We started with the Honda Civic lowriding, Euro lowriding, and then we jumped into the chop top MC with a full frame, and we took off from there, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video right here. So I'm going to be doing chronological order for all the cars I've had. It's close to like 30 cars, man. So got a lot of content for you guys. Really hope you guys enjoy these throwbacks. Y'all be sure to leave a comment. And if you were low riding back in the 90s, man, you could share how your experience was, man. With the having to drive, whatever you had, man. You just wanted to be out there, man. You want to be out there cruising. Anyways, man, y'all stay tuned for more work, man. And thanks for watching.